Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So this is going to be a very quick video just sort of talking about, obviously, the big reveal of tonight's episode of The Walking Dead Dead City, and that is the fact that Simon is back. Simon has returned to the Walking Dead universe, and obviously he's not back and able to contribute to the story going forward because the character died, but he did come back in a flashback scene and it was just absolutely incredible. And we also saw Lucille and the Sanctuary. So I want to talk about that here really quick. So before we go any further, obviously, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. And if you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, definitely go do so. I will be doing a live stream for Comic-Con. Comic-Con is in 12 days from now. And yeah, I'll be live streaming my reaction, all that, to all the news that does drop for Comic-Con. And I'm so excited for that. So in a flashback scene that we got during Dead City today, or during episode 4, we do see that Simon has returned. And honestly, when I watched the scene, I kind of mentioned it in my review a little bit, but I saw Negan just sitting at the table there, and I thought it was just a random scene of him sitting around a table, just I don't know, at some place in New York, where he's at right now. But then I started to realize this really looks like the Sanctuary. I didn't even notice Lucille sitting there, and then I started to notice, wait, that's Lucille. And then all of a sudden, Simon shows up, and I was like, oh my God, as if he's actually back right now. And it was something that was just honestly so refreshing. It was so nice to see him. I want to see these characters come back in this way. Seeing Simon come back is just proof that you can really bring anyone back if you want to. And this is something that you should do for just the franchise in general. Telling stories like this is honestly just absolutely just incredible. I did a video earlier talking about Dwight's return and all that. I mean, I feel like Dwight is sort of the missing piece. Dwight and Sherry, I feel like, are the missing pieces to this. Dead City so far is really referencing the Savior arc in a lot of ways. And I honestly do, I am a fan of that because, the Savior arc in the comic was amazing. On the show, it still does hold up, I guess, a little bit better nowadays. Back then, definitely not. But, nowadays it is starting to, I think fans are starting to like it a little bit more. But there's still some slower storytelling there. There's, there's a lot of that there, but overall the characters involved and the story elements, were definitely very exciting and a lot of fun. And Dwight, I feel like, is someone that definitely needs to show up, I think, in this show, and I think could really, honestly do a lot. But Simon's return was that. Honestly, it was just so refreshing to see Simon actually return here, and he returned in a way where it actually made a lot of sense. It was a Croat flashback, right, where we do see Negan at the Sanctuary. Simon comes to see him and is like, there's an issue here. We have a problem, and we go and see the Croat, and then, we're introduced to that problem. It's that he's been torturing this person, and he's gone way too far. And Negan and the Saviors obviously have a code, right? And they've never broken that code, and this here just really crosses the line, especially for Negan. And so we know what happens afterwards, right? They end up kicking him out of the Sanctuary, and then I think Negan tries to kill him and then shoots him, but misses his ear, or not misses his ear, but misses him and just sort of hits his ear, and that's why he's missing an ear. Having Simon back, though, was just absolutely incredible. I mean, it's really crazy. The last time we saw him, he was a zombie, or sorry, walker. But before that, we really saw him try to take over the Sanctuary, and it was just kind of cool to see the evolution of that character. That was such an awesome just story there for that character. I definitely still have an issue with the fight between Simon and Negan, because Simon really should have won that fight for sure. I think Simon just, one-on-one fight, he definitely should have won, but it was just, I don't know, it was one of those things that I guess you're just sort of forced to believe that Negan is going to be able to overpower Simon. But obviously it was a really incredible moment, I think, to show that Negan is that powerful and he will scare people. He does rule through fear, right? So, or I get what it did for Negan and for the story and just, the Saviors, but I still think that it just didn't really necessarily make that much sense, but still, that doesn't really matter in general anyways. I think the fight was overall, I have my issues with it, but it's kind of cool that it ended that way, right? The whole Negan versus Simon thing, it ended in this insane fight, and it would have been cool if Simon was actually still around in some way, because I believe, I can't remember, but I remember Dwight sort of letting Negan know that Simon was trying to kill him or something like that. Or Simon allowed Dwight to kill Negan. And so Negan obviously was just super upset about that and was just like, you know what? Because you did this and you think you're just so tough or whatever, then obviously, if you can beat me and you're able to take me out right here, then you can be the leader of the Sanctuary and the Saviors. And obviously it didn't go the way that Simon wanted, but still, you know, overall, I do think that it was just, it's so cool to have him back. To see the sanctuary and all that was something that was just so surprising, so shocking. I didn't expect to see that. I really felt like that story arc was just long gone at this point, but he's back. Simon actually has returned. And I mean, honestly, he does look like the role. I mean, it's really hard to get the look right? Like, it's hard to go back and sort of get the exact look right because it's just something that you're not necessarily like easily able to do because he looked like that during that time. Obviously, things have changed, like life happens, right? And so I think overall they did a pretty good job. I mean, he just sort of looks like, I would say, almost a younger version of what he ended up kind of looking like a year later or whatever. So, like, I think they actually did a pretty good job here. And it's really, like I mentioned this in my review as well, it's very amazing to see how the sanctuary would look under a really high budget. Like, that was something that definitely, like that was very, very surprising. Like, to be able to see the lighting of these characters in like this setting, right? Like, the tone is so different, the lighting is different. It just looks very cinematic, and we're used to seeing the sanctuary with like the old look that it used to have, right, during season 7 and 8. But now it just sort of has this overall cinematic look, and I think it really shows why people are liking Dead City, I think, because this is one big element to it. And it's just, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And it's kind of cool because like Simon really just, you know, character-wise, or Stephen Ogg anyways, because he plays Simon, right? Like, he really does just go back into character, and it feels like so natural. Like, he feels like he is like second in command to Negan, that like Negan is the overall boss, and it's cool to see the dynamic there. Like, it really, really is. And honestly, for me, it was just really cool to actually see Negan with Lucille again, because like I thought we were never going to see Lucille again, but to actually see him with Lucille was just amazing. Honestly, I don't know how they could ever work into the story again, but if there was a way that he could have Lucille again, that would be amazing. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that, like, maybe he doesn't name it Lucille, but like maybe he just creates the bat because he's like, you know what? This is my favorite weapon. I'm so used to using this. I could actually really do a lot of damage with this, so I'm going to stick with a barbed wired baseball bat, right? Like, I think it would be so cool for the story, because I was thinking about it with the Daryl Dixon show as well. Daryl is going to be in France without his crossbow. So, like, I mean, that's fine, but, like, what if he just got another crossbow out there? You know what I mean? I think that would also be really cool. Or maybe when Carol shows up, she brings his crossbow. I don't know. But I really like the fact that these characters do have these weapons. You know, like, they're just such iconic weapons. It is fun, too, you know, for the characters to go without them for a while. But it just feels like with Negan, because of, like, that's the thing. It's a little different with him, right? Because, like, Lucille actually mattered a lot with his personal story. Like, the crossbow and Rick's Python are just sort of weapons that they had. Like, they're not really that special in any way. Maybe to, like, Judith and stuff, like, that weapon really means a lot. But for Rick, it's just sort of a weapon, right? And for Negan, you know, the bat definitely means a lot more. So for him to create the same thing, like, it would just, you would have to do something different with that. But I honestly would absolutely love that. Maybe he doesn't even create the bat. Somebody makes it for him and is like, here you go. And he looks at it and he's like, this is really cool. Like, he just uses the bat afterwards and he just kind of sticks with it. It has no name, though. It's just sort of, that's his bat. But yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed this. I thought this was just absolutely just amazing. I can't believe Simon's returned. I can't believe we saw the Sanctuary. I can't believe we saw Lucille. And just Negan, like, just seeing him, like, the old version of him again, just, like, super cool. Honestly, really amazing. So, yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. Honestly, this episode was just pretty mind-blowing. Post all your thoughts down below. I'm going to have 2 more videos out tomorrow, I believe, and it's going to be, I know one is going to be a Rick and Michonne video. There could be another one depending on if there's anything that comes out tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is the week before, I guess, the week that leads up to Comic-Con, right? So this week here, there could be a lot of stuff that comes out, a lot of interviews and all that for Rick and Michonne even, right? There could be character portraits for that, or Daryl Dixon. There might be a lot of stuff that drops the week after too, building right up to Comic-Con, because that's the week of. There could be a lot of stuff that drops there, and it's going to be exciting to see exactly what happens, because usually every year there's a lot of interviews, there's like these first look photos, there's a bunch of stuff like that, and then at Comic-Con they give us actual footage and all that. So it's going to be a really busy next 2 weeks, I would say even 3 weeks, and then I think it might quiet down a little bit, but it depends, because they might gear up promotion for Daryl Dixon, right? So we'll have to wait and see. So definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.